Alright guys, let's turn this spall into a working little point. So it already kind of has a shape, but you can see where the bulb came off and that piece came off, and it just happened to create a tip. So that's obviously the longest part and this is the thickest. So let's work that down. I'm going to raise the edge up, thicken and raise the edge up to this side so we can peel this high spot off. So just a gentle grind there. Anywhere where, again, I know I repeated a bunch, but for the new nappers, anywhere where the edge is really thin from the original spall, you're not going to get any pressure flakes or percussion without it collapsing. So you have to remove all that super thin till it strengthens up a little bit. That's a razor edge. I mean, tell me that's not a tool. I mean, that is insane right there, how sharp that is. Alright, let's see if we can thin some of this down, guys. Look at that. Look at that peeler. It was a real nice thinning flake, and then it created a ridge there for that one. Couple well-timed thinning flakes and you can end up with a nice piece. Ooh, doggies. There's another thinner chicken dinner. Okay, let's do the same thing, raise this side and maybe peel some of that off. This corner has an area, a natural platform out there to try to get some of that thickness off. Look at that. That was a money flake right there. Now I gotta kind of take one down. There we go. Another money flake. Look at that. Look how convex and nice and round that surface is. Now we'll take some here, and this is already leaning. I don't want really long flakes. I just want to get this high spot off. I want to leave this perfect convexity there. There you go. There we go. Look at that. So much better. Okay, let's take a flake here. This is a real high spot here. Good little peeler. That should have continued on. I don't know why that broke off. It's kind of brittle stuff. Kind of weird. Alright, let's take one from the base here. Okay, now that's totally doming out and convexing. I got one little high spot here, and then I got a high spot here. Did I get it? A little bit. Not perfect, but I got some of it. Okay, high spot down here. This thing looks like a little scraper right now. Oh shit. More of this high stuff off. Ooh, did it go or did, oh good, it went. I thought it hinged. That looked like it hinged. It was almost a hinge. There we go, brother. Okay, so that is really getting convex and nice and getting fixed now. Got a high spot here. Blasted that off. Woohoo! And look how paper thin that edge and dished out. I gotta bring that in. See how easy that's breaking? There's no meat there. Uh-oh, did it hinge or did it go? I think that time it might have hinged on me. Damn, that's so weird. It feels like it went. Alright, I'll try to... Oh, when I take this here at this angle, I think it's going to take that off. Let's do that now. Go right into that spot. Look at that. That's what you call a peeler, man. Beautiful flake. Took that whole hinge off. Another beautiful flake. It left a weird delta right there, so when I take this off, I don't want to add any more to that flake or add any more. All I want is that hump piece gone, so I'm not going to try to take a big flake. I'm just going to try to just see if I can barely nip that edge. Damn. I think that's time for hammerstone. There we go. That's all I wanted to do is nip that edge. Look at that. So I was able to keep that nice scar, and only get rid of that high spot. Sometimes you don't want to flake any more into it. You just want to get rid of a delta or a high spot. Nice little biface, man. This thing's coming out good. Gonna make a nice little point of here. Look at how nice and smooth, and that's a really, really nice little biface. I got a high ridge here. Okay, got a ridge here. Buddy, fuck, you're so annoying. One little ridge there I need to get off. Look at that. Look at that. There we go. Now I'm getting a little bit of pattern into that spot that was perfectly flat, and it just didn't look right. That's what I'm talking about. We're almost there, guys. This is almost ready for pressure flake. Man, that's a nice flat little biface. I really flattened that out. Okay, I'm gonna shoot one thinner, I think, up from the base, and then we're gonna call this thing with percussion done. There we go. Alright, that one high spot there, guys. Wish me luck. These end shots are tough. They break a lot of times right here. It went. Left a ridge for the next one. Did like a little ring crack thing kind of right there though, but yeah, that did thin it. One more here from the corner. And it crunched. Alright guys, let's see if we can get one more. Let her rip, tater chip. What's gonna happen? Look at that. That was the one I needed. There we go. It's coming. Alright, that's it for the biface. Let's move on to pressure flake, guys. I'll be right back. This is my favorite, the elk. So I'm going to sharpen this real quick and I'll be back. Alright guys, I was able to sharpen this down a little bit. The only problem is it's getting shorter and shorter as I'm working it, and this elk has quite a bit of pith in the center versus like an axis deer, but man, I'm just loving the way this elk grabs the edge on the pressure flaking, so I can see a little bit of pith in there, but I'm hoping there's enough meat down in the bottom, the harder antler part, that it's still gonna grab. So let's see what we can do. I need to switch glasses. Where are the high spots? So this side is real flat, really nice. I don't really see any high spots there. This side has the high spot, so there's one big one here. So we're gonna raise. So what I want to do is come up at an angle and see if I can get this high spot off right here. Come to look. Look at that big old flake from there to there. That was awesome. Really nice. That thing went halfway across. Now I got a platform here to take the next one. Whoa, that was another big peeler. Okay. And then the platforms aren't right. I want to take another one here next to it, but see how the platforms are back to this side? So I got to grind it and take some flakes that way. The platforms are going the wrong way. So you want to utilize as many natural platforms that you can find hanging below center line. So see how this little spot here hangs off to this side? That's an area to take one, and then this is one. So rather than losing more width, take those natural platforms where you have them. You can see right there, I'm going to grab right onto that low hanging spot. Perfect. Got some convexity there. Let's try to do the same thing here. Oh, that edge collapsed. Dang it. That wasn't good. Yeah, that whole edge is just collapsing right there. Now let's try to take one back this way. There we go. Look at that big flake. At least raising this edge to take some flakes on this side, I'll eat away some of that edge and get closer to that crunch I just left in there, that collapsed part right there. That was bad. That's what you call a boo-boo. I might be able to get here at an angle and get some of that off. Right there. I'm going to try it. It's either going to work or I'm going to crunch it even worse. But I'm up above it, so I'm hoping it's going to work. Look at that. I just got almost all the crunch off going in at an angle. Let's do one this way going back up towards that one. I just did. Look at that. Flake here, 2 converging flakes, and just like that, that whole crushed edge is just pretty much gone. That was a neat little trick. Okay, got a really high spot here, so I'm going to bring that in just a tiny bit, raise that edge. Let's grind it and try to get that big bump off. Super nice flake right into that high spot. Let's do another one right next to it. 2 flakes and that whole ridge is gone. Let's do one up higher. Get that. Let's do the exact same thing on this side. This is going to be nice. So our whole goal is where you have these big flat spots is just do a flake or 2 into it to give some pattern so you don't see that old scar where there's a big old flat spot like that. Look at that. Let's do one on the opposite side. Okay, again, we're going to try to get some of this flat spot off right there out towards the tip where from the original scar. And look, just a couple flakes in there, and just like that, that tip, instead of flat, it's getting the convexity. It's awesome. Awesomeness. Okay, got a really good platform here. Nice flake. Alright guys, I have just one massive flake right here with no pattern there, so let's raise this edge and at least shoot a couple flakes into that. So the convexity of that's really nice, and that's a good smooth edge, but there's just no pressure flakes on it, and it just looks kind of strange. So let's look here first though. Like I said, always try to use your natural platforms. I got a high spot there, so let's do that first. That was a good flake to there. It's crunching. I felt it right away. That was a good flake. Okay, I got a real big high spot here. at that. That sucker went to there. That was really, really good. Oh, kind of collapsed on there. There we go. Okay, I got a high spot here. There's a ridge there. If you can see right there, and then you can see right there I got that perfect little platform right on that ridge. So look at that big peeler, man. That was a super nice flake. Another really good. I busted a tiny bit of the tip off, but that's okay. I'd rather get the thickness off of the middle there where it doesn't look right. I can always come back and fix the tip there. Ooh, doggies, alright. So I still got one more high spot here. Sometimes you take a really good flake and then it accentuates that high spot next to it. Buddy. Okay, I'm going to try to push in hard and go at an angle and see if I can get this lump off just that last little high spot there. Damn it. There we go. The first one kind of crunched and collapsed on me, but then the second one got it, so that's good. That side looking good, good, good. Alright guys, let's shoot some flakes into this flat part. This is really getting the convexity. That's looking really, really good. So I just want little baby flakes to raise the edge. I don't want to lose too much of the width. Every time you do this, you lose width on these pieces. So you gotta raise the edge up to that side or you ain't doing nothing. You can go below center line and sometimes you can get some flakes, but they're gonna be shallow flakes. They're not gonna run very far and you risk breaking it, so it's just not worth it. Hoping to make a continuous platform here. Take one good flake, it'll make a ridge each time and then get some pattern through that whole flat area. So what I want to do is look for the lowest spot, and that would be right there. So it's natural platform. So look at that, I just took that flake from there to there, and then now there's high spots on each side. Did good, but it kind of dished out. It was a little bit of a concave area, I guess. Didn't like it. Ooh, there's a really good one right there. And look, just those 3 flakes, there's that flat area is gone. Now I got to do the same thing up here. Look at that. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. Just because we built a continuous platform, we were able to get those flakes into that flat area. I think that one's going to pop. I get a little, looks to be cracked through, but okay. See how much better that looks? That entire flat side now has some pattern into it at least. Let's do the same thing here under this flat spot. See, that's original surface from a big percussion flake, and it's just perfectly smooth. So even if they only go halfway, I'll be able to get from the other side. But I need to get into that from here so that I can get rid of this smooth, because I had that. There's a tiny bit left here in the middle, but it's not bad at all. Like here, I got most of that out, and I built some convexity. So here I'm going to do the same thing. And then as I start building the convexity and get towards the tip, I got to be careful not to overshoot, because the flakes, once you get that lens shape, they really start going, and you can get an overshot and rip the entire side of your point off. Look at that, that thing dang near went all the way across. That was close to being an overshot. Controlling my pressure now up towards the tip there. So see right there, we got one flake and we created a ridge here, here, and here. So now we can get into that flat area. Okay, one flake, let's do one right above it. Look at that. No more flat edge except for this side, and we'll be able to do exactly what we did here. And that flat area will be gone. Alright, let's raise that and do the same thing. Hey guys, let's get some. Ooh, that was a good flake, and that generated a nice ridge for right up above it. 2 good flakes there. Look at that. Look at that. No more flat edges anywhere. That totally went all the way across. Here I can raise this up and shoot some and maybe try to get some of that. I left a little tiny bit of flat, but I mean that's just cosmetic. It doesn't really matter. Where that can get you is when you're working slabs and you have the saw marks and you leave those, but if you leave a tiny little area in the middle that was an original scar from when you took it, then there's no grind marks or anything. It's just kind of a smooth area. So ooh, that tip's too sharp. I'm gonna take that down a tiny bit. It's just real thin right there. And this puppy has some good convexity now. Alright, let's raise this here and just try to shoot maybe 2 or 3 flakes. You know, this is the sharp stuff, but be careful. No max. I'll play with you in a little while. No, don't step on it. No, stay away. Come here. Hi. Did you have good hamburgers and hot dogs and all kinds of goodies today? You had all kinds of treats. What's your problem? I barbecued for you and you always get some. Alright guys, let's see if we can peel some. Ooh, that was a good one. So 1, 2, 3. Do another one. That was a big flake. That thing went to there. So yep, that just got to the center part that I was worried about. Damn it, that crunched. There we go. Alright, let me rebuild this edge. Okay, I got some thickness here where it kind of crunched out on me. Alright, let's see if we can grind that and get that last little high spot off that's over there on the corner. And then we'll fire some flakes from the base and try to thin the base down, because If the base is too thick, I'll never get good notches into it. So see how that platform, see how my leading edge is in the center of the point all the way to here, and then these platforms come out because I'm trying to get this bulb out. That felt like a big flake. Yep. That went quite a ways in. Let's do one more. Yep. It's weird. This rock's giving me a line in the same spot. So there's a spot. It might be a natural fracture or something. None of the flakes are wanting to, from here all the way to here, the flakes aren't wanting to go past that. Maybe that was part of the issue before. It could be a natural crack or something. I don't know. But it looks a lot better, guys. Okay, now I can attack a couple of those high spots. Look at that sucker, man. That went from there to there. Super nice. From there to there. From there to there. That's fixing the thickness right there. That was nice. Okay, let's raise this and shoot some more into that base. A big flake down at an angle. I felt it pinch on the other side. See how I got such good convexity? That flake went all the way across and it just peeled off my other side. That's an overshot. When that flake went all the way there, and once it hits the other edge, it has nowhere to go, and it just follows the ridge. And so luckily I didn't lose too much of my width, but dang it, that sucks because I had some real nice width to this. Alright, so how you fix that is take a flake right behind it and bring that in, take a flake right in front of it, bring that in, and then you're left with that. You have to just try to kind of zigzag it and get that square edge off without losing too much of your width. It's kind of tough. I'm going to take one here, go back, take one here, go back, take one. Man, I hate overshots so much. And they always happen when I really start getting the good convexity and I'm really doing a good job doing the pressure flaking until I drop it and snap the point. And then that's when they happen. But it's okay because I needed to thin that point anyway. It was still a little thick there. Now that I had my first overshot on it, I just know to kind of be a little more careful. But yeah, that one I felt it. I was holding it and I felt it pinch all the way on this side, and when you feel that come off on that side, you know that that's an overshot flake. It goes across the whole point. Screwed the shape of this up. I really had a good shape going, and I still have a little bit of tiny square edge there, but I'm just going to take it slow because I don't want to lose any more. The edge was really thin, so I got to be careful not to get one of those ring crack things. That was close to an overshot. Okay, let's not worry about that little piece right now. Let's work on this base. I'll lose just a little bit of the length of it, but shoot some flakes up and try to thin the base so that I have a chance of notching it really nicely. Pressure flaking is some monotonous stuff, but it's fun. I mean, just one bad little flake like that can kind of screw your day up. Okay, I got a little bit of a natural platform there to try to get that off. I'm going to try to take that before I work the edge. And just see if it comes off naturally. Damn it. Yep, got one right up the pipe on that platform edge. There's that bad spot. Dang it. So I'm gonna raise this up and shoot some and see if I can get that bad spot off where all those flakes that were going across were hitting that same spot and stopping. I don't know if there's a natural crack or what, but I want to try to get rid of that now. I don't want to send any more flakes into it from the side. here. Took a big old flake down the pipe. Look at that. There's a platform right next to it. Ooh, that was another big one. Yeah, there's just a little bad spot there. It got a lot of that off, but it still kind of went to that bad spot and just kind of left it. It just does not want to shoot through that. Let's call that and see. Yeah, I thinned that base down a bunch though, which is awesome because I'm gonna need that to get those wings into it, or those notches. Okay, that flat edge almost just came off, so that's good. That's really good. Wasn't wanting to release there for a second. You got a tiny high spot there. Buddy, you're annoying, bro. Calm down. You don't have to get all crazy, bro. Convexity's pretty good on this one. See a couple little high spots. Here's one here. That was a super nice flake. Another high spot. Ooh, that sucker ran from there to there, man. Almost another. Good thing it kind of like hinged in that same little spot. There's a line running through the whole thing, and but at least it's a good thing because it kind of stopped it, and it went to there. If it would have gone any farther, I would have lost the whole side of the point again. Okay, got a high spot here. Got it. Big old flake from there to there. Shoot one from the corner. Got her. All right, man. We thinned her out. Take one from the side. every little spot. The part I don't show is where at the very end I go around when I'm finished and just do the little micro serrations, just resharpening the edge because I grind it so much during the manufacturing process. So I don't show that too much, but I'll probably do a video just showing that, even though it's monotonous. But I just kind of figure you guys probably don't want to really see that part because you can barely even see what's going on. Peeler. Ooh, that felt like it overshot, but it didn't. Kind of got lucky there, I think. It's crunching right there. Alright guys, does the base look good for notching? And I see one bad spot right here that's not tapered, and it's just got like a bad... Let's get that. Big flake, that was what I needed right there. One more above it. Another big flake right above that. Cool beans, man. Take too deep of flakes here, but I just want to take some surface flakes to smooth this side out. It's a little rough over there. It's not as smooth as the rest. Gosh, damn it. Man, I got lucky with that, guys. It's hard with big old Mongol hands, man. I always do that. So weak. Exactly what I wanted. Oh man, I didn't think that broke weird. Yeah, that was part of that bad area, but man, thank God that flake broke and went through there. That really helped thin that down for the notch part. Do I take one more set of flakes up and try to thin that a little bit more? That side looks pretty good. bad spot here. Ooh, that was a nice flake. We got a kind of a crazy area right here. The OCD got me a little bit on this one, but man, it's a really nice surface. Alright guys, let's start notching her. Now let's figure out how I want to notch it. Alright, I'm going to take my time here for a second, stop the video, and I'm going to maybe get a pen and draw and kind of look at the design for a while. I don't want to rush right into it. This is a super nice point. I want to really decide before I do it what all I want to do. So I'll be back.